29th of October 2022. You're very welcome back. This is another video on this great case of ours 2419, which I am actively plugging and trying to recommend, and I can take some credit for having at least one wind farm refuse planning permission due to it in a roundabout way. Doesn't matter what you achieve. If somebody takes a judicial review on 2419 alone, see 2419 alone, they'll fight them hard. That could be, we don't know. They might give in, we don't know. That's for a time when I'm ready for it, and I'm just not ready to do it at the moment. But if you go in on 2419 and one or two other grounds, they'll cave in on one of the other grounds to avoid setting a precedent. And as time goes on and wind farms come up in other parts of Europe, this case is going to be built on and built on. I've explained it very well now in the preceding video number 50, and this is number 50A. And what I want to get at here is that maybe somebody might be looking at this. Anyone who invests in any wind farm, or who has invested in any wind farm, or has investments in it, and at the moment, because of the high oil price, and they've linked the price of wind energy to the oil price, they may be making some money. There are also side issues like carbon taxes and carbon credits. We are fighting that in the European Court of Justice at the moment for Mr. Pat Swords' case, and that's going on there. And that's is bound to create uncertainty with investors. I mean, the fact that the whole ability of the European Investment Bank to give money to renewable energy programs without it being properly assessed is now in peril, as the court will eventually rule on it. And if they assess it, they can't win because they can't prove it works. The current crisis in Germany and in Europe, energy crisis, is proof. They have 61,000 megawatts of wind energy and they're no good to them. So that proves the point. But this is for investment, bankers and other things. Number one, you have already seen in Ireland alone 2 wind farms rejected at planning stage. You've seen 2 rejected in one in Belgium and one in Holland, in the Netherlands, and probably more to come. But European Court Case 2419, see 2419, there it's there. That particular case also says that any wind farms built since 2006 must have their planning permission annulled. And once they're annulled, they're illegal, and then anyone can go in Ireland or other countries. In Ireland, it's section 160 of the Planning and Development Act 2000, and even I can go into the court and demand they remove them. And only for I'm busy at the moment, I'd already be going into court to make them take down Derryberry Wind Farm. But for now, I just don't have time. But I'll make some time, hopefully, if I can. So if anyone invests in wind farms, knowing that there's a court case there at the highest level in the European Union, and puts their money in, whether it be pension funds or anything else, well, they stand a very good chance of that wind farm being taken down over time. Certainly, if the time frame is 8 or 9 years, somebody's going to take it down, and eventually it's going to be realized they don't work too well anyway. The current buzz for these things will dissipate a bit, but whether it doesn't or doesn't, even you've got a full Dáil Éireann, the full Irish Parliament, comprising Green TDs, they can't get over the fact that until they assess the guidelines for building these things, all wind farms are illegal. And if they assess them, that will not make existing wind farms legal. It would only mean that the guidelines from then on, if they get through, would then be legal. That would make them legal, and they'll have a big job drawing up guidelines, because the likes of myself and others can give evidence that how far away the noise is felt and all of that. So it's shaky ground. I mean, imagine if you bought a pub and you stuck all your money into it and you discovered then it had no license, or you discovered there was some reason why it couldn't get a license. Understand? So imagine that, or some other thing. You wouldn't buy any going concern or any company if there's a question about the legality of that company hanging over it, and which could actually result in the whole thing being closed. So if some guy goes up into the middle of a Dublin housing estate and he builds a sawmill which has a constant hum from it all the time, and dust and all that, or he builds a knacker's yard or a slaughterhouse or whatever else, and he puts it up for sale, would you buy it? Would you buy it? Well, the answer is no. Would you buy it? The answer is no. So buying something which is going to collapse is a bad idea. Investing in something which is legally flawed and could be shut down is a bad idea. Would you buy a nice building there, a nice hotel with some fella built and which has no planning permission? Would you buy it? If you buy it, you're going to have to look for retention planning permission. You're going to have all kinds of problems, and there's huge uncertainty. Who'd give a loan in such circumstances? Yet the banks and the lending institutions are giving loans to companies like Greencoat Renewables and others to buy wind farms that have no legal basis to be there, which could be taken down at a moment's notice. My purpose of this video is to hopefully that somebody will bring it to the attention of these investors. Just read it. You go into the Curio, you go into search European Court of Justice cases, you put in 2419, you click the English version and you read it. And if you don't want to read the full case, go into the Advocate General. You get the choice of both the Advocate General and the Court of Justice Grand Chamber, and you can read the black writing at the bottom, and that will tell you A, the guidelines have no legal basis, they are not assessed, they are part of a plan or programme, and that plan or programme has never been assessed. The guidelines are illegal. Secondly, the principle for the guidelines is, are they such that the planning authorities would take heed of them? And that's written into most planning applications, that they have considered the guidelines. They're caught there. The next thing is, what happens then if it's an application? It has to be annulled. It's illegal, it has to be annulled. They have to go back to the drawing board. What happens? Existing wind farms built since 2006, their planning permission has to be annulled. So you're in the same situation as if you were buying a hotel that you knew had no planning permission, in the hope that you might get planning permission. Do you think you'd do that? Would you do it? Would you even buy a house? Would you take out a mortgage and buy a house which did not have planning permission? The answer is you wouldn't. And yet the mad banks, the mad investors and funds all over the place are doing this, and they're trying to get people like retiring nurses and army people to invest their gratuity, their lump sum, in this baloney without telling them the fact that they have to tell them that they are illegal. And this is something which I believe now should be written into the company accounts of all wind farms, and I'll be looking into it to see can I force them to actually notify in their accounts a very big risk to their going concern principle, that they can at any stage be ordered to be removed. And this case cannot be overturned by any national government. This case is binding on all EU countries, including Ireland. Folks, that's it. I'll ask you to give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Maybe people will think I'm being belligerent. I just see that we have them on the run, and now that I have them on the run, the last thing I want to do is take the foot up. I want to keep the pressure on, as the late Jack Charlton said, keep them under pressure. In the football scene and the soccer scene, we'll do that. We'll keep them under pressure. Every day that passes, we'll grind them down until we win. It's all illegal, it's all nonsense, it's all a waste, and I think someday we will win. Folks, that's it. I'll see you back for something else. As I say, this is aimed at investors, people who might have money in banks. You need to tell the bank in no account is it to be invested in renewable energy, particularly wind farms. No account. They're illegal, they have no basis in European law, and they only have a basis in Irish law because of corrupt politicians who refuse to obey the law. But we will make them obey the law. We'll not stop till we make them. Drag them kicking and screaming, irrespective of what Irish judges think or anyone else thinks. The European Court of Justice, its case and its ruling is clear. See 2419. If you don't want to read it all, read the black writing at the bottom. Folks, I'll see you back for something else. Good luck. Bye.